Cheatgrass is currently the greatest threat to the sagebrush biome in the West. We are losing more acres of sagebrush to cheatgrass every year than to any other cause. It's not fragmentation due to industry, it's not overgrazing, it's primarily cheatgrass. Right now it's estimated that there's 5 million acres in Wyoming being impacted by cheatgrass, and the cost of doing nothing is estimated to be more in the 49 million acres. So right now, Wyoming's in a pretty unique spot where we have everything to gain and also everything to lose if we do nothing. You look at our neighbors to the west, and some of them, by the time they realized how serious of an issue it was too late. And now they've lost millions and millions of acres to cheatgrass. Their fire regimes are changed. They don't have wildlife habitat. And it doesn't just impact wildlife, it doesn't just impact grazing. It has effects on industry, oil and gas, coal, recreation, everything that we like to do in Wyoming. A lot of our employment and our economic well-being comes from, it's all at risk if we lose the state to cheatgrass. There's a lot that people need to care about, whether they're hunters or recreationists, or they work in an oil field, or they just like all the amenities that we get from tax dollars that are raised by a lot of that industry. So it certainly has implications that would ripple across the entire state.
And the other problem with cheatgrass is it takes habitat like this, valuable wildlife habitat, valuable forage, and basically turns it to crap, right? Wildlife use it very little. It cures out very early in the summer. So by May, it's cured out, and you've got this extremely flammable fine fuel bed on the landscape, and all of a sudden you're getting fires, boom, 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 every couple of years.
We like to see wildfire or prescribed fire burns treated right away. Having that soil contact with the chemical, not letting the cheatgrass or other invasives get a foothold, allowing for those native grasses to have a chance to come back, we feel is really effective.
Pedro fire we treated immediately. We saw that treatment hold pretty well for a couple of years. The perennial grass community was coming back fairly well. Some of the other fires that we've dealt with, we've been really fortunate to have good pre-fire data, so we don't have to go in there and treat everything that's black. We can go in and say, we know there was cheatgrass on this slope prior to the burn. Let's go ahead and treat that rather than just blanket spraying the entire fire, which can get really expensive.
For the Pedros, it's not currently bighorn sheep habitat, it is historically bighorn sheep habitat, and so we want to make sure that if and when we can put bighorn sheep back in the Pedros, that it's great habitat. So we're willing to put forth the money and the effort to ensure that those native grasses are there. We are starting to look at prescribed fire plans that include cheatgrass monitoring and treatments.
We were able to get funding to work with the University of Wyoming and the Imagine Group to have a full-time monitoring crew here every summer. And that crew did over 3,000 inventory and monitoring points for us that summer. And now we're able to use that data to fine-tune our treatments, to provide them to the pilots and look at how we're going to move through this country with our treatments. If it's in our priority area and it's a trace, we're going to treat it. And then post-treatment, the same crew's doing our post-treatment monitoring for us, so they'll come back in 1 year post-treatment, they'll look at the cheatgrass densities, and then we can overlay those and see how those performed. We can also see if anything got missed. The total acreage is somewhere around 500,000 acres that we're working in. The particular block that we're standing next to is about 75,000 acres. And we anticipate that we'll treat somewhere around 25,000 acres of cheatgrass within that.
From an NGO standpoint, you know, it's easy to want to do those projects that are like, ooh, bighorn sheep research, bighorn sheep captures, transplants, reintroductions, but I think the more we learn as big game conservation groups, the more we understand how important this is, and the more money we start putting towards it. And I think really as a group, as a sportsman's groups, it's so important that we keep educating our public the importance of spending money on cheatgrass.
You have to step back and say, you know, we can do these things. Everybody that I had ever talked to basically thought that putting a helicopter in the air to spray over wilderness was not doable, and it is. But you have to have the right people that are willing to kind of put their neck out there a little bit to push for some of these things. You know, we're trying to protect these landscapes, to protect these habitats,